Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 21 of Rannoch. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I've just been enjoying the BRT moving around the new zoo that was our last episode, as a blaze burns over in the Goodwin estate over there, in Spain. But either way, in today's episode, again, we have spiked some industrial demand. However, the current city configuration doesn't really allow for any kind of major industry. There's a little bit of ore in the hills over here, but I'm not really ready to set up some kind of dirty industry, so we're going to bring in some more office space today, and indeed some more unique buildings. In this space across from the stadium, which is very much going to form, as we know, part of our master skyline, as Rannoch continues to climb up towards its eventual coastline. So that's what we get stuck into today. So I've got a few ideas to play with. There's also a couple of unique buildings I want to use, notably from the Korea Content Creator Pack, which is going to be the Jangbisoft building and the Mirai department store as well. So we've got some current configurations over here. Now I'm happy to have the slip lanes off the highway, but I think in their current iteration they're not quite what I'm after. So I'm just going to trim all these networks back so we can start to play with some slightly different ideas here. So I think we'll move into a bit of a road time lapse here as we begin to piece together what is going to form the new road networks of this area. Fantastic, so that should give us something to work with. Now we're very much playing with a high density vibe here, so I'll be happy to continue on the modern city centre zoning. We will also set up a new district here today as well, which will be named Boone Heights after our wonderful patron Elizabeth Boone. Thank you for all your support, Elizabeth. You're right, a secret blend of herbs and spices. So first of all, I think we'll focus on our main unique buildings as they're going to take up the main space. So with the Jangbisoft, I have visions of this for some reason on an angle parallel-ish with the train line. So let's see what we can do to arrange this. Let's see if we can cut across here on a kind of angle like that. I'm happy to remove some roads to accommodate it. Pretty much that orientation is what I'm after. So this will be a pretty important building in the skyline, this one. It's also going to blend really nicely with the tech hub that's across the road from it. It should be a pretty nice centerpiece for the city. Also, people sat on this little terrace here as well. We'll also see our high-speed trains moving past again with a wonderful view to the tech hub and an eventual skyline once it's in. So I think I'll be pretty happy with that. I think I'll enjoy that. Now, because the building is surrounded by concrete, it's going to lend itself nicely to a kind of detailed plaza expansion around it, which means it's time for, have a guess, airport aprons. Of course. What else in Rannoch? Best asset in the game. So we'll throw that there. Now, it will only go in certain places, but I think I'll be happy with that because it'll allow us to change up the shape of the pathway a little bit around it. Of course, I want this to be open, walkable concrete space around the base of such an important building, so we'll also run some pathways around it. Let's go to our angle snap here. Possibly grid as well. And then if we could do this in a number of places. Where's the entrance? Right there, isn't it? How about we bring one down here? That's going to collide with the pedestrian roads there. And then we'll also take this one, let's see, just straight down there. I think should be alright. And then we can squeeze in some extra airport apronage where we do have a little bit of a tear. We could even move the path over. Or might even introduce a little tree line there as well. Why don't we go for maybe some pines? Is there a tiny sweet spot? I don't think I'd hate that. I think that's quite nice next to the building. That's going to be wonderful. Let's give some specializations to Boone Heights. So I'm thinking we're probably going to make it up a wall-to-wall office again. Nice and modern, and it's not too high-rise either. I'd rather let the unique buildings take the height. So we give that wall to wall, and then with the commercial, we will go for the modern city centre, that I think. And that should keep us on a nice medium rise as well. So that's that one in. The next one I wanted to look at was the Mirai, which is a big old department store, which is a really, really nice asset. So let's see, I'd really like this to be visible from the highway. Now, this kind of square here looks pretty nice, doesn't it? So why don't we see if we can position it somewhere around there? Because if we were to have a look at this building, it has kind of entrances on all four sides of it. So I think it would be a good idea to bring in some more plaza space around it. I think really kind of let the unique buildings breathe around the rest of the zoning that will make up for them. I think in terms of positioning, so it's nice to check, isn't it? Be happy with that there. There's a good bit of space between the two of them there, isn't there? So I reckon we'll go with that. But in terms of what we're going to do for this building, let's just take it away for the meantime. I would like to have a little bit of an entrance road up to it, so let's go for... I suppose the angle might be quite nice here. I think we'll do this angle instead. So let's push it 5 units, doesn't have to be very long, and then we'll create a platform to place the asset on. That should be pretty perfect, and then we just want to leave that single connection in there so people can walk right up to it. We could even put that on a pedestrian road as well. Do we have pedestrianisation nearby? We got the stadium, we could quite easily steal the pedestrian district there, which in hindsight we are going to do. So let's go for nice tree line pedestrian road. Should be quite nice. We got some fancier trees out the front. That's a little bit extravagant, isn't it? Maybe none of these. There we go, London's. The ninja was safe bet, aren't they? So that'd be nice. And then over here we can see we have another entrance. Now we've also got an underground parking area here as well. So I'd actually love to bring out a road that honours that. So if we can just line it off of this arterial. How about that? I think that'll be alright. Of course, we don't want the traffic light here, so let's just turn that off. Fantastic news. That'd be good. And then all out the back here. I would like to do some more airport aprons, but this road, it will collide, so we can avoid that by temporarily, and pausing your game if you have the trams here, into a highway road, because the airport aprons don't snap with the highways. Now I don't want it to cover the full width of the building, so let's just do it there. And that way we'll have a plaza at this one, and then there's also another entrance over here as well. And I reckon we'll take that one down to the road. And then we can either do some complementary zoning, or I might just leave this whole block empty so this kind of big cube really speaks for itself, right? I think it'd be quite a dramatic building, won't it? That's the plan. Let's go ahead and upgrade our tram road back into there as well, so now it doesn't snap with that anymore. And that should be pretty wonderful. Let's get that pedestrian district over here as well. I think there's one nearby. Oh, so yeah, there's one in the Goodwin estate. I guess it's 6 and 2 3s really, isn't it? Doesn't really matter. So we'll just cover you, and then we can sever that connection as well. So now it will receive its deliveries from this service point over here, which is wonderful. Let's bring a road down here just to mark off that zone. And then I'll start getting some modern city centre stuff around here. I do think I'm going to be quite precious about the corners. So I think I'm going to let them grow in with assets first, I reckon. I reckon that'll be a good idea. How are we doing for service coverage over here? Do we have... There's a police station there and there. Crime's pretty low. Fire is a bit of a problem over here, as I say that. If fire breaks out, you can't write it, can you? So I reckon we'll also include one of the high capacity fire stations as basically part of the Skyline here. So where do you want this? It's gonna... And if it fits and sits, that's the rule, right? I think that is the rule. So let's do that one there. Again, a really modern kind of cubey building, isn't it? It's going to blend in with this really modern kind of commercial shopping office district. So I'd be more than happy to have that there. And that's going to help our commercial growing as well, of course. Now they have services nearby. I reckon we'll also get this growing on those corner units as well. Fantastic. And then we'll fill out the rest of them once those nice corner assets have developed themselves. Returning to the slit road idea we had over here, I definitely don't want to neglect that. And I think coming into this central belt here is going to make the most sense, isn't it? So let's come straight out there. And hook that straight in. That's going to give us more perfect zoning. And then here, really want to get close to the highway. And with these roads, like we did with the stadium area, with all the commercial here, really want this to be like a quite claustrophobic introduction to high density as the highway passes through it. So I think we'll do the same thing with the sound barrier roads from this way. Let's upgrade all of this. We will move up to 2 lanes, but extra laneage is always appreciated, isn't it? Send that into there, and then we'll also do the same here as well, I think. Unfortunately, there is no 1 lane with sound barrier, which would be perfect. And are you not going to upgrade? Distance too short? That's incredibly annoying. I can live with it though. And then with this one, we already have 4 lane at the interchange. So, oh, come on. It worked to this side. Why would it do it now? It's fine. It's fine. We'll go to 3 and then it can go to 4 as the interchange slip lanes kick in over there. That should be fine. There we go. That's what I'm talking about with those city blocks. Let's historicalize those too. The other ones will hopefully start growing in now as well. We could go the same, but there is some other nice corner units like this one. So, are we missing zone in there? No, they're just not zoned in, which is fine. We'll sort that out in a sec. Oh yes, would you look at that? They're even gathering outside the back of the building as well. Are they going to walk out onto the pathway, I wonder, to actually access that? It'd be great if they did. Go on, do it. Oh no, she turned off. You going to walk out? Oh yes, they do. Look at that. They do walk out. Wonderful. So you can actually use the arse end of the Jangaby soft. It will work. Which will be a great bit of detail in here, won't it? I really look forward to that in a bit. Special. Corner assets are coming in. Thick and fast. Back to the slip lane idea. Before I constantly get distracted with different projects. So here, we could come out at an angle. Probably something pretty similar to that's going to work, to be honest. And then let's just come out of this node here. And then curve and guideline should see us through. Special. And make sure our directions are in the right place. Probably will keep the traffic light on this particular junction. And let's get our trees upgraded here as well. I also wouldn't mind maybe a little bit more of a tropical tree. How do the bamboos look here? Happy to go with a slightly more Asian tree maybe while we're playing with some Korea buildings this way. I don't hate that. It's a lot of asset repetition here, isn't there? This is very Paris, isn't it? So we'll let them level up and hopefully get some different assets in. We'll see. Wonderful. So that will reinstate that slip lane idea we had here. Now, of course, this is only from this elevated direction. People traveling this way don't have a slip lane either. We might feed one off into these blocks over here. I guess we'll see as the episode moves on. But our corner units are in now, so let's get the last of this high density zoned up in all 4 corners. Around the back here too. And in there. Really good pack, Modern City Centre. If you don't have it, highly recommend it. Same here again as well. We do an office in here too, so let's not forget about that. Let's have some of that big modern wall-to-wall stuff growing up. Again, another great specialisation from Plazas and Promenades. If you don't have it, another great addition to your vanilla cities. So we do have a smaller hotel here. I don't think we have the other larger hotels unlocked, do we? No, it would have been nice to have some of these in. Our weekly profit's only at 3,000, so we need quite a few more. Yeah, there we go. We're getting some of these nicer corner units in now. Let's historicalize some of these as they grow in. Very good. They make really good city blocks, these buildings, don't they? Just sit here down at the street level. It's nice to have something that tall in vanilla. Not that the vanilla commercial is horrible, but the specializations are just so much better, aren't they? Really, really nice. So have that there. Let's see how our skyline's growing here too. Starting to see these peaks rising above that high density commercial now, aren't we? So exciting. watching the skyline grow. Over here, where we do have some more roads in the corner, let's turn our attention to this way. So we'll certainly have the road come out here. Let's also do no guidelines so we don't shatter our grid. And with this one again, nice and tight against the highway. Be happy with that. And then let's arrange some more zoned wall space here so we really have that density. Coming in, don't really want lots of green space left over in this bit of the city if we can help it. only where we really want it, around stuff like the mirror. I think I'll be fine. I am also noticing this road here begin to get maybe a little bit too busy for my liking. So I think what we will do in this instance is actually introduce some one-way networks flowing out of this intersection. That way they can only come kind of forwards or backwards down this road, and it should just alleviate the pressure here. It should be okay, I think. And then I think with these spaces, we'll fill up with a little bit more modern city centre. And mixes of office zoning as well. Just fill that whole space there. Then here, I like it to drop a little bit in terms of the building height as it comes down toward the highway. So we'll fill those 2 deep spaces there as well. That should grow up quite nicely. We'll also save some little green pockets like we've done here too. We'll probably even delete that road actually. It's probably not massively necessary. Though I suppose it is getting a bit of traffic, isn't it? So I guess we can leave it in. With the train line, we have visions here of kind of saving a little bit of a green belt underneath it. Now, if I delete the road connecting that and come out here, that will maintain a connection, which I'll be happy with. And we've also got a pathway here to reinstate as well. So let's have this 9 meters up, and then we'll come all the way down here. And then I think we'll run a pathway that essentially runs alongside the train line. And then we'll use that as a bit of a kind of greenbelt barrier, I suppose. Turn off our road length there as well. Fantastic. And I guess it can also carry over here. It's all going to get used, isn't it? Let's actually make sure that's in line though. That would be helpful. There we go. And then I reckon this road would also make sense to come through there. We can get some more zoning in, and then we'll just rejig how this sits here too. Get some more zoning in here, lots more modern city centre. Keep all these spaces free for that greenbelt design. How are we doing for noise pollution here? I wouldn't mind some residential towers, green cities most likely. It will survive here, so let's also throw that specialisation on for residential. We'll do self-sufficient homes. And then just the occasional green cities tower. I think we'll grab this road again. Turn off the zoning, which will give us more solid grids here. And then let's allow some of those nice green cities apartment towers to grow up here. It's not too loud. Definitely not around the mid-century modern city centre stuff. That's going to be too loud for residential, but the occasional tower around here I think would be quite welcome. Fantastic. And then with this space here, I just want a line of oaks and trees knocking about here. Just so as you're kind of looking down on that train line, you can see this really nice, happy green strip kind of following the train line as it passes through what is going to be very high dense city, if you like. I think something to that effect. And amongst all the concrete, you just have this green strip passing through. I think it'd be quite a nice way to highlight the train line. So I'll be on board with that. And people picking up this pathway as well? Yes, they are. Fantastic news. How's the noise pollution next to the uni building? Yeah, it's fine. We can get some more towers in here as well. I think we'll do a similar thing we did with the tram road, where we just remove the zoning. That way we'll get some more solid shapes to play with here. Let's also do that same thing there as well. There we go. Different shapes and sizes to come in, I think. Fantastic news. I have also noticed, yeah, you can see them walking here, that the Sims are actually treating this as an entrance, so I reckon it's going to make sense to have a walkable plaza out this way as well. It won't fit in there, but we can do some path work, I think, there instead. Something like that. And then if we can map the pathway of the Sims, let's wait for someone to walk over here. Kind of coming out the corner of the building there, aren't they? There you go. Some more people walking across there. That'll do nicely. So I've cut that right up to the edge of the building. And then cross that pathway, and that'll all become walkable space. I reckon a apron might just fit there to fill that space. That should be pretty tasty, I think. And then loads of prop detail to do around here in our time lapse too. So I think I'll be happy with that. Wonderful. This area's really growing up now, isn't it? Starting to get some towers in there as well. It is extreme amounts of fun watching this place become more cool. Very nice to see. And I think before we move into detail in time-lapse, I was talking about this before I got distracted yet again. In terms of the position of what we're going to do with this road, and because this is such a key arterial heading into eventual downtown Rannoch, I think I'd really like to try and respect a bit of a frontage here. So let's take that road out there. I think we'll save 3 tiles. The crosswalks here will also help people move around this big block a little bit more, which will do lots more path work here in the time-lapse. Which I am conscious I'm doing a lot of path work in Rannoch. Let's just check the node count. 24%, so we're pretty much a quarter of the way through the nodes with that much city space left. Now a lot of this highway is going to change, so we'll reclaim those highway nodes. And this side of the city, of course, is not going to be anywhere near as dense as the current side. So for those panicking about the node count, we should be alright. I say with literally everything crossed. Wonderful. So we have this here now. Again, mixes of high density, although let's make sure we actually put the zoning on these roads. Same again there. Fantastic. Yeah, so mixes of commercial and office space here. I wouldn't mind... Yeah, let's do office here. Let's get a big office block in, and then we'll do office and a mix of residential here as well. Of course, it's all green cities, so it should grow in really nicely with water wall. It's a combination I've really begun to enjoy in Rannoch. And then again, just to fill out this space here, let's align those zoning grids so everything's nice and tight. And I think we'll probably remove the zoning off of this highway road as well. And then we can just reclaim some larger tiles there that allow us to create that density. The highway here shouldn't be too loud. Plus the sound barriers on it as well, so it'll survive. And then I'm not going to historicalize these green cities towers just yet. I'd like them to reach maybe levels 3 or 4. So we get some taller buildings in. So we'll leave them to grow. Got some coming in here now as well. Which is very nice to see. So let those go up a little bit higher yet. This will all grow in down here. And we should be in for a very fun time. Do we have trams coming down this bit of road yet? We don't, but they will eventually. I reckon actually with, where's the nearest tram stop here? Down there, isn't it? It's probably... I'll put a public transport do we have here? Is there any underground metro? There is an underground metro line here, so let's do that as well. Whilst we are playing with underground metro, I'd love to use one of Peanut's stations, so let's go for... We only really need the single platform, I think. Oh, you know what? Would it fit there? Oh, it does remove the pathway, doesn't it? It's also right next to residential, which you will not be happy about. Well, that's fine then. We could simply do it here instead, couldn't we? Let's have that there. Did I zone residential here? It should still be alright. It should be. And then we can really blend that into the plaza that sits around the bottom of the mirror. I think that'd be quite nice, won't it? So let's get that flowing. Let's grab our metro line from underground. Probably just wants a little bit of reshaping here. Actually, can we just do a straight connection there? That'll probably work, won't it? Yeah, that'll be fine. And then we'll grab the stop at Goodwin Estate. Shout out to Brassac, a wonderful Discord moderator. You can come in and say a fresh good morning to him in the Discord if you want a little community to hang out and have a little morning chat with every day. He's always there. And we'll now see the metro arrive over here as well, which... What are you doing? Oh, you're water wall, aren't you? I was like, what the hell is that? I think we'll remove that 1x1 zone in there. Are you taking up that footprint? No, let's delete you. Let's let you grow in fully there instead, flush with the metro station, I think. Fantastic. Yeah, you can really see here, doesn't water wall and green cities go really nicely together? I think it really does. I'm a big fan of it. But either way, that does feel like a splendid place for a detailing time-lapse. I want to bring in lots more detail in the green spaces, lots of open plaza detailing with props to do around here as well. Same around the mirror, lots of benches, fountains, food stands, places just to sit and bask in. A cube, if you like. And then all these larger towers, lovely, the Jangbisoft building there as well. And then refine our density up here as well, and possibly add in that other slip lane, which I guess we can probably talk about before we move into said time-lapse. How about if we just come out here, and then how about that curve and road guideline? Should get a little bit of traffic into it. We'll see. We'll see how it performs. But either way, slip directionality for both directions of the highway here. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. It's already pulling quite a few people in, isn't it? So hopefully that will continue to perform quite nicely. And then lined up the arterial as well. We've kind of got an oak tree line coming down this side where we have the tech hub. So I reckon we'll do the same thing. Oh, look at that big cube there. Isn't that a really cool approach into the building as the road curves around? You get the big front of the building there with all the branding. Very, very nice. Big fan of that. And eventually there will be trams flowing down here as well into the main tram metro hub that will occupy pretty much the exact city centre one day. But we'll get there, slowly but surely. But either way, let's detail up Boone Heights today, and then we'll be right back. guys, let's have a little detailing review, shall we? So, we can now enjoy the beginnings of our Skyline really beginning to peak up. You can see the Jangbisoft, some of the green cities, towers, the Mirai over there as well. And finally, one of our long-time viewpoints is now in place. We talked for a long time about, look at all that, we spoke, sales boys. We talked a long time about this viewpoint here, with the networks cutting through the high rises, and it's now in place as we move down the parallel metro and rail. We have a really cool introduction into this new space, don't we? I'm a huge fan of the position of the Mirai. Well, let's get into it. We'll jump to the edge of the Goodwin estate where we've added in a cafe in amongst this green space that we had. There is also a bus line flowing through here now as well. You'll notice it comes right through the middle, running through the district we built today, and then this heads back to the intercity bus station at Goodwin estate, which is getting very busy now. And there's plenty of people picking up the buses alongside the metro here too, so tons of walkability around this part of the city. Heading up to the Jangbisoft building, we will enjoy a plaza, which has had one of the fountain plazas dropped in. Another one flower plaza over here as well, with more zoning on that corner, which has turned out really nicely. I slightly repositioned the pathways just so they were flush with the building. And then we have plazas in here, a bit of prop work with bins, food trucks, benches, signs, statues, benches, restrooms and whatnot. Just a really nice open organic plaza space. Isn't it so nice just to watch people walk around the foot of these more important buildings? It really lets them stand out a lot more, doesn't it? Our zoning is now fully in with the mid-century modern, which is giving us some really dense commercial streets. Lots of shops down here. It's a lot of fun to walk around. This fire station has blended in absolutely wonderfully. We have a little terrace on it as well, which is kind of making it not look like a fire station, isn't it? It definitely just looks like another kind of commercial block there. So happy with that. Our green cities towers have been capped off between level 2 and 3. Don't want them getting too tall, but we do have some different ones in here now. And then a little bit of car parking around the foot with some nice green belt detailing. As you can see, that kind of tree line following the train as it comes through, which is very nice indeed. Over this way, did downgrade this road back into a 1 lane because this junction here was really annoying. I just couldn't deal with it. So this now flows into the interchange, a little bit down the road, which is still handling some decent traffic. There's a lot of people coming through here now. Of course, the pressure will also be alleviated off of this one once we do our downtown road network frame episode, and another interchange will appear here. Did ask you guys for some inspiration, but since that episode, Teddy's map pack has arrived with ploppable interchanges, so it's likely we'll use one of those just so we can use them. Maybe Diverging Diamond here, something that heads into this arterial, and then eventually the downtown road network frame, which isn't too far away now, I don't think. Although I think we need to do 25 tiles before we start the downtown. I think I mentioned the last episode, didn't I? Back into the build. Our tree lining has come all the way down the road, and just something about the position of the Mirai. Isn't that wonderful? On a slight angle, such a big cubey building like that. I'm an enormous fan of that position there. Heading up to the Mirai, we have a glass plaza fountain over here. Some benches, grills and bins, whatnot around the pathway, but that path does now wrap all the way around the building, so you can see people realistically walking where you would expect people to walk in real life. There's a cafe, another fountain over here, some vanilla commercial. Didn't really like the way the mid-century, sorry, I always call it mid-century modern city centre. I always get the two parts confused. Didn't really like the way it sat here, so switched this out for just vanilla high density commercial, which is sitting quite nicely. And then we got cafes, tables, umbrellas, again more fountain designs with benches, restrooms, little rock gardens where the airport aprons wouldn't quite fit in, and then just kind of broken up those concrete spaces with some more landscape designs. There's bollards here as well where you would expect them, so cars coming into the underground parking. And even though that's such a subtle touch, I really like having the road go into the parking there. It's just a nice little touch, that, isn't it? I think respecting all sides of the building can make an enormous difference to a build in terms of kind of vanilla realism, I think. I really like that. Over here, we've added in some multi-story car parks and expanded the linden patterns around them. And then out the front here, we have a statue of Jerry Sr., of course. Our Mirai entrance here with the pedestrian street, which actually gets very little use. Everyone prefers the pedestrian pathways around. Benches and whatnot. Kiosks, more fountains, a bit of a love heart here, very kind of Instagrammable spot, isn't it? You can come here and, you know, hashtag I love Mirai. get a picture with your loved one in the heart fountain with some benches and planters and whatnot. There's more benches dotted around the metro station, which isn't the busiest in the world, but once this is hooked into the downtown, it will become significantly busier, of course. And then there's a cafe over here as well, fountains and more bench work. As the full kind of walkable plaza design really wraps around the mirror, it really lets that building breathe, doesn't it? And I'm an enormous fan of it. It's a real key feature for this arterial road. And of course, people taking this elevated metro, which is even busier. You can imagine how busy this area will get even more once that downtown is in and this metro crosses over the bridge into something. That's going to be just a super satisfying spot to see, I think, with all this walkability and concrete plaza space knocking about, broken up by greenbelt. It's a style I've really come to enjoy in Rannoch. I think it's a lot of fun to build in vanilla. Airport aprons have made an untold difference to the game, haven't they? At least for me they have. I really love playing with them. Especially with so many props available now from the DLCs. It's detailing is a realistic possibility without custom assets or mods, I think, in vanilla. Over here we have added in one of the Africa high schools, so we did have some orange demand for high school education, and thankfully, yes please everyone, we are very nearly due another university, which I'm tremendously happy about. I love building campuses. So we'll probably make that part of the downtown, I think, kind of have the university assets on the road as downtown buildings, which is something we haven't really done before. We usually use the unit buildings in that kind of style, but I think here we might use the Liberal Arts Academy as a bit of a older town district, couple it with the cathedral, some older style unit buildings as a bit of a section of the downtown. So that should be a lot of fun. But either way, we have added in a high school to help satiate some demand, and then there's now office and green cities all mixed together. So we got all three zoning types in here. So we've got the office serving as industry, of course lots of commercial and some residential towers in as well, which has all been treed up around here. There's tennis courts and nice benches that have generated from wall to wall, helping to create some really organic city blocks. And it's a real nice kind of beginning to go to kind of high rise, isn't it? There's a great viewpoint here, wasn't there? Where were we? Over in this spot here, you can see up to the towers across the highway there. Do some further signage. It's always so exciting for me to move into that kind of high density vibe, so I'm so happy to be doing it in Rannoch, finally. But can't wait to get into the downtown as well. The pathway over here is getting some nice use as well, of course, which goes into the episode of the build we did a couple of episodes ago. Into a very busy train station here. How many is this getting now? 404 on the internal line, which is so exciting. It's very, very busy over here. And that's really great. So many people using public transport, of course, which is all helping to take the pressure off of the roads here. And traffic around here, considering how much high density we actually have, is pretty mental. So I'm a huge, huge fan of this new area. And it's going to settle in really nicely at the foot of the eventual Skyline, isn't it? But otherwise, that will do it for today. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching. Massive shout out to all the patrons that support the channel, with a roll call to Andrew Perez and O'Hay Casino. If you'd like to get involved in that, Instant Gaming and Patreon are both linked down below, which are two ways you can further support the channel if you so wish. Let me know what you think of this one. I'm really enjoying these kind of mid to high rise developments at the foot of the downtown, especially all built in some pretty awkward space around existing arterials, and this massive Y interchange that's going to feature a huge part of that eventual Skyline. I think it's going to make it quite unique, isn't it? The city is begging for industry, so we'll probably have to move to industry next episode. I think we might do a bit of industrial filler. We need some garbage collection. We'll also get some more zoned industry down as well, just to help balance the production a little bit. And there's some little awkward spaces knocking around the map, so we can get involved in them. And then we're only 12,000 population away from hitting the 25 tile milestone, which will allow us to turn to the opposite side of the city from here to finally work on that arterial bundle project we've spoken about for a long time, which should take us to 25 tiles, and then at that point I think we'll start the downtown. So it might be a little bit later in the series than it normally is, but we always like to tease it, don't we? But really enjoyed this project today. Tons of public transport, lots of really fun vanilla detailing in these larger plaza spaces around the big unit buildings, with some demands satisfied as well. Otherwise, please do enjoy the cinematics, but I will shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much again for watching and continuing to support Cities Skylines 1 content on the channel. As always, enjoy the rest of your day.